Hey guys, bringing you a Total War Warhammer online ranked battle. I'll be playing as the Dark Elves and my opponent will be playing as the Wood Elves. And as you can see, my army consists pretty much entirely of shades. It's a mix of shades with dual weapons and shades of greatswords. Now they're super duper expensive, and this strategy is a very niche one. I feel like, there's a lot of times where it just won't work, but I play it a lot because it's fun and it's an unusual idea. It basically involves a full ambush with the Shades army from behind. And I'll explain a little bit of sort of the pros and cons of it and stuff. And a little bit about the variations in the sort of builds that I might bring. So every time the sort of bulk of the build is the same. We've got Shades with dual weapons and Shades with greatswords. The proportion of which varies depending on who I'm fighting. So because I'm fighting against Wood Elves, it's mainly dual weapons because there's going to be a lot of lightly armoured infantry that I'm going to need to fight, and 2 greatswords just mixed in there to add a little bit of AP against certain things, like for example these Wildwood Rangers. This strategy, like I said, it doesn't work all the time. If you play against people with mobility, it makes it a lot harder. This strategy I do against dwarves and it absolutely wrecks them, and when I'm against dwarves I don't even bring this sort of like fake screening force. I just bring shades and harpies and just things to keep them busy and then ambush them from behind. And I'm going to put a little bit of footage into this video of a dwarfs battle just to show you how these guys trade in melee with some of the different units that dwarves have. So we'll kick things off. I've got Malekith on Seraphon. I mean, he can literally win a battle on his own. He is insane. Gotta be one of the strongest lords out there, I think. And he never, he doesn't really get wrecked in melee as well. Maybe against certain people, but I just think he's amazingly powerful. And the spells that he can drop. And his ability thing, the Destroyer that makes their recharge, ability recharge timer longer, that is just so annoying to have against you. My opponent's got Glade Lord on a Forest Dragon, Dryads, Wildwood Rangers, Branch Wraith, and 2 Ancient Treemen. So it's kind of just luck, really. Like, he happened to bring this build. If he had a build with, those deer riding dudes, that would be pretty... that'd be pretty tough to deal with, and all sorts of other things can really, destroy this build. But it's still good fun, and we'll get it going. And it's nice just to see Shades in action, because, you don't really see them getting enough love, and I don't reckon anyone really brings, I just feel like not many people bring Greatswords variant as well, because they're so expensive, and they're just not really that field-tested. But I've got a pretty good feel for them, and, in certain circumstances they can kick ass. So we'll kick things off and we'll enjoy the battle. It's pretty intense, I think. Good fight. And it's got giant treemen, which is always awesome. Love that. It's a very tree army from this guy. I respect that. That's my kind of thing right there. And Branch Wraith is so dope. So he's going into the woods. I think he fired an arrow of Kernus at Malekith, who took a bit of a graze from it. Malekith's going to come in. Forest Dragon's going to be like, nah, go back to the forest where I belong. And there's just going to be a bit of baiting back and forth. We'll just speed things up here. So now here's where everything kicks off. Dark Riders coming in. They're going to catch these Deepwood Scouts with Swift Shiver Shards. Probably not the best choice for the Wood Elves. I don't know. This guy's army's cool because it's a little bit different from what people always bring. People tend to just bring what they think is the best. So melee's kicking off here. Straight away, Malekith's like, come down here, give them a Gaze of Malice, which is obviously really important to just do to archers all the time. But these guys, they're spread out, unlike normal archers, which sort of negates a bit of the damage, which is, an interesting thing to think about. He starts taking arrows, that's not fun for him. Drop a Soul Stealer. Come in. Take some big damage there. Oof. It's kicking off at the moment. Malekith seems to just be chilling. Don't know what that's about. Oh yeah, here we go. Bam. Pretty cool, having a big old dragon fight. So the main army's moving up. I do not envy these poor dark elves. Just sort of average bleak swords and dread spears, and look what's coming towards them. Does not look like fun. That's a lot of trees. Oh, and look in the background. More dragon fighting popping off. So I don't want to miss too much. We'll try and keep track of sort of all the action and what's going on. Malekith's getting absolutely wrecked. I think he's going to try and escape here. The trees are coming in. I want to watch the trees mac up the Dark Elves, but I feel like I need to watch this. This is a bit of a changing point, turning point in the battle. So Malekith's in a lot of trouble. He's under pressure. He's being pushed away by the thingy. But, I mean, look what we've got coming in. It is just an absolute army of shades.
Annihilate them. All shall die.
And they're all going to start firing. And one thing about shades, they melt like big stuff. They melt anything armoured, I guess. Especially if you've got like 6 or 7 of them. That's a bit strong. Malekith, though, is just taking the damage. And he's going to barely escape with his life. Let's see what his HP's at. 532 before that volley. So that's absolutely nuts. The Forest Dragon and Glade Lord is down, though, which is pretty cool. And then these guys are going to face the wrath of that many shades. Like I said, I think shades are, you know, they're really good at killing big targets, armored targets. But, I mean, when you've got this many of them, if you just fire onto any unit, they're going to get completely destroyed. These guys probably have a little bit of armor, 15, but I don't think it even matters, to be fair. We'll watch them get absolutely melted here. Look at that. Like, pretty much broken. Dark Riders are going to finish it off. These boys fought bravely, but they're going to break. You know, fair enough. They did well to stand for as long as they did. Treemen are so cool. I love that stuff. I'm going to be doing something involving treemen very soon on my channel. So, managed to get Malekith back in after the pretty ropey start. And I think I managed to save up enough Winds of Magic, because he's got some really great abilities like Power of Darkness, where you can hurt your own units to get Winds of Magic back. So I do that. Managed to get a nice Soul Stealer on these two. Oh, and then something pretty cheeky happens, actually. I also think that it hurt him as well as healing him, so I don't know. But have you ever got this glitch on Total War Warhammer? Because I have had it multiple times, and it happens right now, where you cast a big spell and your Winds of Magic don't get depleted. Because if you watch, in a second, after casting that first Soul Stealer, something very unusual is about to happen. I think I realised that my winds aren't depleted, and I'm like, what the hell? Obviously going to do another one. Boom. I mean, obviously, that's broken, and that's a glitch. It's, you know, sad. But I still think I would have won, like, pretty easily. Get the big Dragon Breath just into the blob. It's about pouring the damage on. And now, here we go. The real army has arrived. And we're going to watch them melt a tree man. So that's half health from one volley.
All shall suffer.
And I'm going to pause it right here. So this is why Shades are so cool, because my micro was on point because I didn't have much to do. And I managed to countercharge these Dryads, and these Shades with dual weapons are going to destroy them. It's just so cool to see Shades like throwing down, and they're all winning decisively, by the way. Getting in there, which is amazing. We dropped a tree man pretty easily. I only managed to pull one of them back because everyone else is engaged, but they're all crushing their engagements. Those Dryads are broken. We do have Wildwood Rangers coming in. If we could get the greatswords on them, that would be amazing, but it doesn't matter.
Come forth. Death awaits.
One unit of Shades is shooting the tree man right now, and they've still done so much damage to him. It's just crazy. Shades are sick. And these Wildwood Rangers are losing decisively against Shade's greatswords. I just missed that, but I just did a breath and Gaze of Malice, and it shattered those two units, and that's going to win me the game. So, a bit of an unusual tactic, but a fun one. I think the shades are really, really cool, and I do this all the time. There's variants on the build, quite a few different variants actually, depending on situation. I've won against Chaos, I've won against Dwarves loads of times. I just obviously beat a Wood Elf player. It's really fun to do in 2v2s as well and 3v3s, because you can just sort of sneak off around the side and attack them from behind. So what we'll do is we'll flip over to a little bit of footage from the same build or similar build against the Dwarves, and we'll show how they sort of trade off against that. So this is a typical example of how it would play out against the Dwarves. My Dark Riders and Harpies have screened the front, and my Shades have come from behind and done a full ambush. In this example here, my micro wasn't on point and the Shades aren't shooting the people they should be, these Grumbling Guard and these Hammerers. But if they were, this battle would have been over a lot quicker. So here we have an example of the Shades engaged in combat. This unit is winning against the Dragonback Slayers, which I think is quite impressive. So I bring dual weapons against the Dwarves because of this. All Dwarf players, or at least 90% of Dwarf players, like to screen the back with Slayers. And these guys can deal with those Slayers. And here we have Shades with greatswords engaging with a very heavy armor-piercing unit from the Dowie, that being the Grumbling Guard. So they're holding their ground, they're giving out good damage, and I just think that's nuts for an archer unit to be able to do that, and it's really, really good. This unit here get broken off by the Hammerers, but they were dual weapons, and they've still managed to do so much damage. So across the board, we've got Shades just, you know, perhaps getting beaten because they're against some of the toughest Dwarf infantry there is, but laying down such a hurt before they do die. And they're also able to kite and shoot and do all sorts of, you know, nasty business. So that's it for my, you know, video. I hope people found this build sort of interesting, maybe want to try it out. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to maybe even upload another video today with an interesting build. Peace out. You know, anything you want to see, any comments, any discussions, please feel free to post in the comments. And yeah, see you next time. Peace.